you ever feel like your mind just won't stop racing? Like you're constantly fighting an invisible current of stress, pressure, and endless to-dos? What if I told you that peace isn't something you find out there, but something you create within? That there are simple, timeless practices that can ground you no matter how chaotic the world becomes? If you're searching for calm in the storm, you've come to the right place. In this video, we'll dive into 5 foolproof habits inspired by Stoic philosophy. Habits that can help you calm your mind, reduce stress, and rediscover clarity. And trust me, these aren't vague theories. These are tools. Tools you can start using today. Before we dive in, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We're building a community focused on self-mastery, clarity, and real growth, and we'd love to have you with us. Let's begin. 1. Master the art of control. Imagine this. You're sitting in your car, trapped in an endless line of traffic. Horns are blaring around you, red brake lights stretch endlessly ahead, and the time on the dashboard reminds you that you're already late. Frustration bubbles up. Your grip tightens on the steering wheel. You glance at the clock again, heart pounding. Why is this happening now? What if you miss your appointment? What will they think of you? Now pause. In that moment of rising stress, ask yourself a single powerful question. Can I control this situation? This simple question lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy. It is not just a rhetorical device, but a mental reset. The traffic, the honking, the time, it's all outside your control. But your reaction, that belongs to you. That's where your true power lies. The Stoics believed that the key to a tranquil and resilient life is understanding the boundary between what is and isn't within our power. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said it best. Some things are up to us, and some are not. This idea, simple yet profound, is the foundation of emotional freedom. Most of our anxiety, anger, and frustration come from trying to control the uncontrollable. We want people to act a certain way. We want the weather to change, the past to be different, outcomes to be guaranteed. But reality doesn't bend to our wishes. And the more we demand that it does, the more we suffer. Take a moment to reflect on the last time you felt overwhelmed. Was it because something outside of you wasn't going as planned? A rude comment from a colleague, an unexpected bill, a relationship that didn't turn out the way you wanted? In each of these situations, the initial pain may be real, but the prolonged suffering often comes from resistance. We mentally replay the situation, argue with reality, and stew in frustration. The Stoic solution is not apathy or indifference. It's discernment. It's about focusing your energy only where it matters, on your thoughts, your actions, your response. This isn't always easy. It takes practice. But it begins with awareness. When anxiety, stress, or anger begin to rise, pause and ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then let it go. Breathe deeply, shift your focus, and release the mental grip. This doesn't mean you give up or don't care. It means you stop wasting energy on what you cannot change. If the answer is yes, then take action. Do something, make a decision, respond with integrity. Focus on your effort, not the outcome. Every day offers you small moments to apply this principle. You can't control if someone cuts you off in traffic, but you can choose not to chase them down or curse them. You can't control the economy, but you can control your spending and saving habits. You can't control someone else's opinion, but you can control how much value you assign to it. The more you practice this habit, the more mentally resilient you become. You begin to feel calmer, more focused, and more empowered, not because the world changed, but because your relationship with it did. So the next time you're caught in traffic, or life throws you something unexpected, remember, The blaring horns and late hour are not yours to control. But how you show up in that moment, that's where your power lies. 2. Write to clear your mind. Have you ever felt like your thoughts were racing, overlapping, or shouting over each other in your head? Maybe you're struggling with a difficult decision, or you're carrying emotional weight that you can't seem to shake. In those moments, clarity feels just out of reach, but there's a deceptively simple tool that can change everything. Writing. Journaling isn't just a habit for the overly reflective or creatively inclined. It's a powerful mental practice, what you might call a mind cleanse. By putting your thoughts on paper, you give shape to the formless. You take the chaos swirling in your mind and lay it out where you can actually see it. This act alone can bring tremendous relief. Think of your mind like a cluttered desk, papers everywhere. Random notes, half-written ideas, emotional reminders scattered all over. Writing is the process of sorting through that mess. You pick up one piece of paper at a time, examine it, decide where it goes, and maybe even throw some away. With each word you write, you create space for insight, peace, and focus. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, understood this deeply. His journal, now known as Meditations, was never meant to be read by anyone else. It was his private space to think, reflect, and make sense of the world. He wrote to himself as a way of holding himself accountable, clarifying his values, and processing the challenges of ruling an empire. He didn't need perfect grammar or eloquence, he needed honesty. That's the beauty of journaling. You don't have to be a writer, you just have to be willing to show up and be real. If you're carrying emotional pain, write. Let the words spill out. Anger, sadness, confusion, grief, whatever it is, give it a voice. The act of writing validates your experience, even if no one else sees it. If you're wrestling with a tough decision, write. Lay out the pros and cons, ask yourself questions, explore your fears and hopes. Writing often reveals truths you didn't know you were avoiding. If your mind feels scattered, write. Make a list, vent, reflect, stream of consciousness, bullet points, whatever works. The form doesn't matter. The act does. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day can create a profound shift in your mental clarity. You'll start to notice patterns, recurring worries, unresolved emotions, limiting beliefs. And once they're visible, you can do something about them. This is more than catharsis. It's training. Each time you write, you practice self-awareness. You train yourself to observe your inner world without judgment. You become better at recognizing what you're thinking and feeling, which means you're less likely to be ruled by those thoughts and feelings. You don't have to start with a blank page and pressure yourself to be profound. Try a few prompts. What am I feeling right now? What am I struggling with today? What can I let go of? What do I want to remember about this moment? Journaling doesn't solve every problem, but it helps you face them with clarity and courage. And in a world full of noise and distraction, that clarity is gold. 3. Embrace the moment. It will pass. It's amazing how time can feel so different depending on your emotional state. When you're joyful, time flies. When you're suffering, it crawls. Pain, in particular, has a way of convincing us that it's permanent, that we'll never feel better, that the discomfort, whether physical, emotional, or mental, has taken over and will never release its grip. But the truth, one that Stoicism reminds us of again and again, is this: this, too, shall pass. It's a deceptively simple phrase, and yet, in moments of stress or sorrow, it becomes a lifeline. Nothing you feel right now, no matter how overwhelming, is forever. Emotions are like waves. They rise, peak, and fall away. Thoughts pass through like clouds in the sky. Even the darkest nights eventually give way to dawn. when you're in the thick of it, anxiety before a big decision, heartbreak after a betrayal, grief after a loss, it can feel like you're frozen in place. But if you look back at your life, you'll see countless moments where you thought the pain would last forever. And yet, here you are. This awareness is not meant to minimize your feelings. It's not Stoicism's way of saying, get over it. Rather, it's a gentle reminder to witness your emotions rather than be consumed by them. To trust in their impermanence. To stop resisting what you feel and instead let it move through you. The Stoics practiced this kind of presence daily. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Time is like a river made up of events which happen and a violent stream. For as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away and another comes in its place." He wasn't saying emotions are trivial. He was saying they are temporary. This mindset helps you embrace both the bad and the good with balance. When you're happy, you savor it more because you know it's a passing moment of light. When you're hurting, you breathe through it because you know it will not stay forever. Even your greatest stress will one day be a memory. Even your current worries will fade into the background of your life story. Think about how many things you once obsessed over and how little they matter now. That's the pattern. That's the rhythm of life. The goal, then, is not to avoid pain or chase joy, but to stay present, to meet each moment as it comes, to let go of clinging, to breathe, to trust. When you feel overwhelmed, try this. Pause and label your experience. I'm feeling sadness, or I'm experiencing fear. Naming the emotion helps create space between you and it. Then say to yourself, this is just a moment, it will pass, it always does. So when stress shows up at your door, don't fight it, don't fear it, just open the door, welcome it in, and watch as eventually it leaves again. Because every emotion is just a visitor, and none of them stay forever. 4. Take back your attention. We live in an age of unprecedented distraction. Every app on your phone, every tab in your browser, every buzz, ping, and vibration competes for a slice of your focus. Notifications don't just appear, they scream for your attention. Your digital environment, whether you realize it or not, is meticulously designed to fragment your mind. It's not a coincidence. Tech companies hire behavioral scientists to ensure you stay locked in, scrolling endlessly, caught in loops of dopamine-driven habits. We've reached a point where quiet has become a rare luxury. Even moments that were once naturally still, waiting in line, sitting on a train, eating a meal, have become opportunities for stimulation. The average person checks their phone over 90 times a day. Think about that. It means you're giving away your attention without even noticing. And with it, you're giving away your peace, your focus, and your ability to be fully present in your life. That's why reclaiming your attention is no longer just a good idea. It's a form of self-defense. But here's the good news. You don't have to become a hermit in the woods or delete every app you own. The path back to clarity and presence starts small, one intentional act at a time. Start with 1 hour a day without your phone. This might seem trivial at first, but try it, and you'll see just how uncomfortable it feels. That discomfort isn't a sign that something's wrong. It's a signal that you've become too attached. Take a walk without your headphones. Let yourself hear the world again. Listen to the birds, the wind, the traffic, whatever is around you. These mundane sounds remind you that you're alive here, now. Try having a conversation with someone without checking your phone once. You'll quickly notice how difficult it is. We're so conditioned to distraction that uninterrupted conversation feels foreign. But it's also deeply rewarding. The more present you are, the more depth your interactions will have. And the more depth your relationships will build over time. Clarity is not something you find randomly. It's something you make room for. And making room requires silence. We often underestimate the power of silence. We think it's empty or boring. But silence is a container. It's a space where thoughts settle, emotions surface, and insight emerges. Without silence, our inner world becomes just as cluttered as our outer one. The Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor constantly surrounded by political chaos, found refuge in his inner stillness. His meditations weren't written for an audience, they were a personal effort to reclaim peace amidst the noise. He knew that clarity doesn't come from reacting to every impulse or chasing every distraction. It comes from stillness, from focus, from choosing where your attention goes. We have to realize that attention is our most valuable resource. Where your attention goes, your energy follows. And where your energy goes, your life is shaped. So take it back. Don't wait for a retreat or vacation. Begin now. Reclaim your morning by not checking your phone for the first hour. Create digital boundaries. Turn off non-essential notifications. Practice presence in everyday activities. Wash the dishes and just wash the dishes. Eat your meal without a screen in front of you. These may seem like small changes, but together they create a powerful shift. They build a life where you are in control. Not your phone, not your inbox, not an algorithm. You, because at the end of the day, focus is freedom. And the quieter your mind becomes, the more you'll hear what truly matters. 5. Choose discomfort on purpose. Comfort is seductive. It whispers to you, stay where it's warm, familiar, and safe. Don't try too hard. Don't push yourself. Avoid the awkward conversation, the hard workout, the early wake-up. But the truth is, comfort is a double-edged sword. While it soothes you in the short term, it silently steals your resilience, your ambition, and your ability to grow. The more you avoid discomfort, the smaller your world becomes. You retreat from challenges, you shy away from uncertainty, and, eventually, even small setbacks start to feel overwhelming. The Stoics knew this. They weren't interested in an easy life, they were interested in a strong mind. And they understood that the best way to strengthen the mind was through voluntary discomfort. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher and advisor to Emperor Nero, would practice poverty even though he was wealthy. He would eat simple food, sleep on the floor, and wear rough clothing, not because he had to, but because he wanted to train his mind. He wanted to remind himself that he could handle discomfort, that his happiness wasn't tied to luxury or ease. You can apply this same wisdom today. Take a cold shower, not because it's trendy or because someone online told you to, but because it's a form of training. It teaches you to do hard things on purpose. Wake up early, even when you don't want to. It builds discipline. Say no to something that tempts you. Junk food, gossip, procrastination. It strengthens your resolve. These aren't acts of punishment, they're acts of preparation. Because life will throw discomfort at you whether you want it or not. The question is, will you be ready? If you never choose discomfort voluntarily, then when it shows up uninvited, through loss, failure, rejection, you'll be caught off guard. But if you've trained yourself to lean into small challenges, then the bigger ones won't break you. They might bend you, sure, but you'll bounce back. This is how mental resilience is built. Not in big dramatic moments, but in daily choices. Choosing to exercise instead of staying on the couch. Choosing to speak honestly instead of avoiding confrontation. Choosing to sit with boredom instead of numbing it with a screen. Each of these moments is a rep in your mental gym, and the more reps you do, the stronger you become. The Stoics weren't emotionless robots. They felt pain, fear, and loss like anyone else. But they practiced meeting those feelings with strength and perspective. And that strength wasn't something they were born with. It was something they cultivated through challenge. Discomfort clarifies your values. It reveals what you care about. It shows you what you're willing to struggle for. And when you make peace with discomfort, you stop being afraid of it. You no longer need life to be easy. You just need to be capable. So, choose discomfort. Not recklessly, not to punish yourself, but to prepare yourself, to stretch your limits, build your courage, and strengthen your spirit. Because a person who can face discomfort on purpose becomes unshakable. And in a world full of uncertainty, being unshakable is a superpower. Make peace a daily practice. We've covered 5 habits, but here's the truth. Peace isn't a finish line, it's a daily practice, from writing down your thoughts, to embracing discomfort, from stepping away from the noise, to remembering that death puts everything in perspective. These aren't just stress-reducing tricks, they're reminders to live fully, intentionally, and wisely. You don't need to fix the world to find peace, you just need to begin within. So if any of these habits resonated, pick one. Start today. And if you found value here, remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a little more calm in their life. Because in a noisy world, stillness is a superpower. And it's one we can all build together.